Probate versus pre-probate leads. Unlocking hidden real estate opportunities. Which one is right for you? Probate or pre-probate leads? First, we must understand how inheritance leads are generated and who and how to contact the heirs to inquire about purchasing or listing the properties. When buying an inheritance property, most people think of contacting a personal representative or executor who might want to sell the property they might be inheriting. But there is a bit more to it. I am going to explain all these intricacies as fast as possible. Let's look at the big picture. The fastest way to find a clue about potential inheritance property is by cross-checking obituaries with a real estate database called Assessor's Data or County Tax Records to find properties with the decedent's name as a sole owner or part owner in the case of a husband and wife that one person or both have been deceased. However, their name is still on the title of the property. Let's call this search result successor's data. It is essential to understand that just because we find the property owned by the deceased individual does not mean that the heirs must file for probate to sell or transfer the title. I will explain this later in this video. The second way we call it is probate leads. To find these inheritance properties, we go through the probate court filings to cross-check and see if the decedent's last known address is the property owned by the decedent, usually his or her residence. 40% of the time, the decedent is a tenant, and the family is probating an estate with only personal assets such as stocks, mutual funds, retirement accounts, annuities, and bank accounts. At LeadCruncher, we do not post probates without real estate. Now that we have some understanding of the sources of these records, let's dive into more detailed similarities and differences that would lead to buying more off-market deals. Probate leads usually offer one property record owned by the decedent. However, at Successor Data, we post up to 30 properties that the decedents owned. We call these records estates with multiple owned property. We create a separate list for our members to give them a copy of the estates with multiple properties from the records they select. How significant is it? Let me give you two examples. When B.D. Sharon Nichols passed away in Ohio, our researchers noticed a mention of the state of Tennessee in her obituary, and we researched her name in Tennessee. And guess what? She owned over 10 properties in DeKalb County, Tennessee that later was sold in bulk to a LLC. Or take the case of Jack L. Dixon, who has almost no description in his obituary. As it turned out, Mr. Dixon was a savvy real estate investor with a small mobile home park in his name in Fort Collins, Colorado. And guess what? All those properties were sold to Terry Lake Mobile Home Park LLC as a standard sale. At Successor Data or pre-probate, you find inheritance properties owned in three different general types of ownership. 30% owned through a living trust, sold by successor trustees, usually a family member, no probate. 30% joint tenancy, sold by a widow or widower, no probate. 40% pre-probate, sold through probate court proceedings. Now, let's look at some of the beneficial properties of probate data that you will not find in pre-probate or successor data. Each record has three properties information. Unlike successor data, which gives you ownership, the property address, the mailing address, link to obituary, Zillow, and area zoom, the data provided at probate leads is a bit more comprehensive. Probate leads have decedent probate case number, name, and property owned by the decedent, personal representative's name, mailing address, and phone number, attorney's office, name, address, phone, and email address. Let's talk about the similarities we are asked. Our online mail merge lets you contact the heirs using successor data or probate leads. You can generate 1, 2, or 1,000 letters in seconds with a click. You can download your letters as PDF document or print them online in 3 formats. There is no need to worry about what your letter has to say. Ask us. LeadCruncher has got you covered. The mail merge option for probate leads is a bit different. We generate 3 letters for you. One to the decedent's address and the other to PR or the personal representative, and one to the attorney. You can print and mail either one or all of them yourself. Question: I need more time to print and mail letters. Do you have automated services that someone, can use to update my list and print and mail a letter I design. You can use postcardcity.com to automatically print and mail your letters with a minimum order of 500 pieces. Here is another question we are asked all the time. If I contact a person posted in successor data with only one name on the title, the decedent, who will receive my mail? Therefore, the letter is mailed to the mailing address, and yes, the decedent's name shows on the address because he or she is still receiving mail, such as tax bills, utility bills, and other correspondence. Often, heirs file for a change of address to receive mail to themselves. But we address the salutation as Dear Property Owner, which works perfectly. The typical call you receive is from a person trying to make the connection for you that they are in charge of the property. They also tell you that the owner of the letter you sent is deceased. Notice from the letter that you never mention someone's passing or asking to talk to the decision makers. You want to portray yourself as someone looking to buy nearby properties. Question: how do I contact successor data records since no phone numbers exist? LeadCruncher.com has an online skip tracing service that allows you to skip trace any data for phone or email address append. Question: can I export my leads as Excel or CSV? Absolutely. With one, you can export your data. How often do I get new records? On successor data, weekly, usually on Tuesdays, and for probate leads, usually twice a month. Do you scrub my data to scrub out sold properties? Absolutely. Every week, we remove the records of properties that have changed ownership for your account and move them to My Data Sold, providing you with the new owner's name. The Lead Cruncher also has a feature called Owner Verifier. Watch the video to see how to scrub any other data you might have in seconds. Another similarity is that both datasets can be selected and moved to triple dialer with one click. You can skip trace for the missing phone numbers on the triple dialer, or if you have any data that needs a skip tracing, you can use the online skip tracing feature. The bottom of the triple line dialer has a video that shows how the dialer works. If you have any questions, you can reach us by phone. Our number is at the top of the homepage, and we also offer one-on-one online sessions to answer any questions or concerns you might have.